All right, guys, thank you so much for joining our team call. I know that we have a couple new faces on here, so I'm so excited that you're here with us. Hopefully tonight you will gain a greater understanding of invites and how there is more than one way to do an invite, and it doesn't have to just be a cold message. In fact, that's kind of the invites that we would like to avoid if at all possible. So I want to share with you a couple of different ways that you can invite people to join you on your journey and support them. But first, go over a couple announcements. So as most of you know, the Success Club prize for the month of November is Core de Force, either a tank top for the girls and a t-shirt for the guys. So if you hit SC5, which means 3 challenge packs, or higher, then you will earn a Core de Force shirt as your prize for that month. So I know I'm definitely working towards that. I know that a lot of us are super excited about that for sure. And so that's the prize. Just be working towards that this month for the Success Club prize for November. I do want to mention this in passing. If you are interested in doing this, please private message me and we'll have a discussion about it. There is a team spirit competition going on in the month of November. For those newer coaches, Team Spirit is basically a friendly competition between coaches, and it's actually structured a whole lot differently than any time they've done it in the past. There's a different way that they're ranking the system. It's not just points-based. That's one category you could win in, and then there are other categories like Most Spirit, which has to do with your hashtags and your social media and things like that. And so a lot of coaches use it as momentum during the month of November to propel their business forward. It's something that I'm happy to go over with. Our team is actually not going to be leading a Team Spirit team. You have to have 20 members in order to have a team, which is a new role. And so we're going to be joining a team called Gym Fit, which is Christy Kynard's team. So if you're interested in joining a Team Spirit, which I highly encourage you, it's a great motivation for business. It's a great way to just kind of buckle down and get a lot of work done. If that's the type of person you are, you do well in competitions, let me know. We'll have a conversation. I can give you more details. So the other thing, Jennifer posted about it this week. I would encourage you to make sure to be listening to the National Wake Up Calls. I'm halfway through Danielle Natoni's podcast and could not agree more. It was an incredible call. So make sure to go back and listen to that. The last thing is those of you who are helping lead the Core de Force Challenge group. I posted about it just a little while ago. By end of day tomorrow, if you can get your pictures in so we can get the banner created for the Facebook group, because we're going to have kind of like a fierce team, like right when people get into the group, right up at the top. So it's going to be really fun. So make sure to get that in. So I think that's all the announcements. So I want to go into a couple of different ways that we can do invites. Invites is a topic that a lot of people are really scared of. And I was one of those people when I first started. I was kind of thrown into it in a Team Cup, much like Team Spirit, back in February. And I had no idea what I was doing. I was dry messaging like crazy, and it was stressful as all get out. And so I would love to help avoid that scenario for you guys. One thing I want you to keep in the back of your head, especially the farther you get into your business, one of the important things to have is a tracking system. So if you are working through finding a tracking system that works for you, and if you're new and this is early stages, pen and paper is going to work just fine. But it's when you're carrying on multiple conversations and having to remember following up with people, having a system in place from the get-go is really key to keeping your stress level down. So I will say that. So the first way to invite is the non-invite. And this should be 80% of your invites. This is your social media presence. We have done several trainings on how to share your journey, how to find your avatar, how to do all that on social media. So I'm not going to go into that. You can go on the team calls that we've had previously. But the biggest thing is you relentlessly sharing your journey on social media, because that's going to be the biggest testimony to your passion as a coach, that your heart is in the right place, that you're not just trying to shove products down somebody's face, and that you are trying to truly change lives, which for most of us, that's one of the main reasons that we got into the business. The financial part of it is certainly a great aid as well, But at the end of the day, our mission as coaches is to change lives. And so if we're not changing our own life, then we cannot, how are we going to authentically share that with other people? And so I think going into this season, particularly with the holidays, it's really lit a fire under me to make sure that I'm taking my results to the next level, because I need to, even in this season of my journey, still continue to be a product of the product through the holiday seasons, which is going to be really difficult for a lot of us with the social temptations. But be relentlessly sharing your story on social media and tell a story. I think that's one thing that people sometimes skip when they're posting a picture or posting a picture of their shake. Tell a story every time you post something on social media. For me, I try to, sometimes my posts mean nothing, but like today I posted a picture of Aiden. He's my pride and joy, my life. Someone tell me how to keep this kid to keep his shoes on in the car. You know, like, so I'm telling the story of our life, and my followers and my friends are engaged and invested in me and my business because they feel like they're family. They feel like they're a part of my life. So sharing the little silly things about your life and sharing the little things about your journey. Like this morning, I did not want to get up and see your beautiful faces. I wanted to stay in bed. But I did, and I shared that. So relentlessly sharing your journey, being proof of the products, and transformation posts. A lot of people struggle with this one, but proof is in the pictures. You don't have to post a half-naked picture of you on social media for it to be a transformation. It can be an internal transformation, a mindset transformation, a spiritual transformation. How has God worked in your life, and how has coaching aided in that? You know, coaching can be a huge blessing in so many areas, not just, hey, I lost a bunch of weight. And so I encourage you to be posting at least one transformation post a week, because that continues and shares your story. I aim for like 2 to 3, and mine aren't always side-by-side pictures. It can be a, you know what, today I was able to do XYZ with my son, whereas before when I was working a desk job, I wasn't able to do those things. So that's still a transformation, and that's still telling a story. So I encourage you to make sure to be doing that once a week, just because that will help hold you accountable, because you want to make sure that you have those pictures to be doing that with. So the biggest way to send invites is to not send them, to be sharing your journey on social media relentlessly with passion and authenticity. Okay, so now we go into what people truly view as invites, and this should only be a small portion. It's going to be a much later phase in the game where you're sending out a lot of these messages. But early on, if you don't have much of a warm market, then you may want to go ahead and start sending out these messages. But a couple of different ways is challenge groups. We all know the generic, well, most of us know, I won't say all because we have some new coaches on the call, but a lot of us use the invite where it goes something like this. It says, hey, so-and-so, I hope you're doing well. Always say something personal in there. Make sure you've looked at their page. You know, how's your kid doing? How'd that soccer game go? Blah, blah, blah. Make sure you're connecting with them more than just an invite. Then you tack on and you say, I was wondering if you could do me a favor. I have a new group that's starting on such and such a date. Do you know of anyone who would want my support in reaching their health or fitness goals? I look forward to speaking with you. And so that's kind of a generic invite. The biggest thing is to have something to invite to. Have a challenge group, have a free clean eating group, most of us are not. I've only recently started dabbling in those. It's a great way to create momentum, but it's a lot of work. So, you know, if you want to learn more about that, feel free to reach out to me. But having something so Core de Force is like the prime thing to have something to invite to. And I posted the script that I've been using in our page last week after our call. That has worked so well for me getting prepped and ready for Core de Force. But having something specific, like our team is doing a test group. We should be like jumping at the bit to be like, come join me, this is so exciting. And I know Daniel and Heidi have been doing a great job. I've been seeing them on social media, sharing, inviting on social media, and that's a great way to do it. So if you have something to invite to, then it's a lot less icky feeling. So you have your generic, hey, do you know of anybody type of an invite. Free groups. And then you also are going to have those people who you know personally, you know would really benefit from a Beachbody program or product or your support as a coach. And that's a direct invite. You truly go to them and you say, hey, you've been on my heart. I've got this thing that I've been doing. I'm loving it. I feel so much happier. I feel good in my skin again. You know, I've had you on my heart. Let me message you and see if I wanted to see if you would join me. You want to do this together. I'm looking to reach this next goal and would love somebody to partner with. And so that's more of a direct approach. And those are people like family and cousins and things like that. Thank goodness Jennifer shared her journey on social media, because had she not shared her journey, I would never have wanted to join. And then this whole team would never have been here in the first place. So it's important for those people, I have actually what's called a chicken list. And what's crazy is that somebody from my chicken list is going to be joining our team here shortly. It's Madison, my cousin Madison. And I was terrified to approach her about the coaching opportunity and knowing that she would make a phenomenal coach. But she was on my chicken list. I have a list of people that I'm too scared to approach about. And I'm making it my goal to reach out to one person on that chicken list a week. Because let me read this. So in my regional call today with our corporate rep, he said something that just was this biggest truth bomb in my head. Oh, here we go. Okay, you ready? Y'all gonna write this down? Because this is good stuff. He said, don't hold somebody else's destiny trapped in your mouth. So, when he said that, I was like, oh my gosh, because our call today was on inviting. And it's so true. Don't hold somebody else's destiny trapped in your mouth. You don't know who's been watching you. You don't know who's been too scared to reach out. And in fact, a lot of the coaches on my team were too scared to reach out. And I contacted them and invited them. And then now look where they are. And 90% of my challengers are from an invite because they're too scared to reach out to me. And so you don't know who might just need you to talk to them and who might just be so insecure and so depressed that they can't get out of their own head and send you a message. They might be watching your journey and saying, I don't think I could ever do that. But your coaching and your business might be the missing link in their journey, just like it was for mine, just like it was for Jen and Heidi and Alice. And that was the missing piece is having that coach. And so don't let what was it again? Hold on, I gotta read it again. Don't hold someone else's destiny trapped in your mouth. So don't be afraid to invite, because you are not selling a product. If you're viewing it as selling a product, you're going about it the wrong way. And I encourage you to have a heart check, because this is not about a product. This is about a life change and you giving people the tools to completely and radically change their health. And that's a gift. We have been given this task, this mission and a purpose to change lives and do it the healthy way. This is not, let me shove a bunch of supplements down your throat. This is, let's create healthy habits and do it together. So kind of got off on a little tirade. Sorry about that. Direct messages. That's where that was going. The next one is thank you messages. So when you're doing your transformation posts, always, if you are able to, within 24 hours, it's in my experience, I have found that it's very beneficial to send out thank you messages to those who have liked your transformation post. So what I mean by that is those are going to be the people who are more than likely interested in your journey, or even from a support standpoint, are supporting you from afar. So I send some kind of message that says, hey Laurel, I saw your like on my transformation post. I just wanted to send you a quick message to say thank you so much for your support, even if it's from afar. It might seem silly, but even a simple like goes a long way, and I really appreciate it. Hope you're doing well. Simple, done. And I have been able to connect with so many people through that who have ultimately joined my challenge groups, because they start opening up to me and we build that relationship, and they say, you know what, it is so encouraging to see you share on social media. I can relate to so much that you're going through. I'm on my own weight loss journey and I've lost 10 pounds, but I'm really struggling. And it just opens the door to have a deeper conversation with them and to see if you'd be a good fit to work together. So thank you messages is another way to invite, because ultimately those conversations sometimes lead to a direct approach invite in the end. These last two are two that I've just started implementing, so I can't say I have a lot of experience, but I've been very impressed by how well it's worked. The first one being in events on Facebook. A lot of the neat thing about doing an event is you can send out a mass invite to all your friends, and if they're not interested, they just decline and you're not spamming their inbox. And the people who are going to say that they're interested are people that are truly going to be interested in what you're offering, whether that's a clean eating group, whether that's a water challenge, whether that's a challenge group or a Core Divorce group. Like the Core Divorce event page has been awesome. Like the excitement and the buzz in that event page is great because it's constantly on people's brains. I'm posting in there every day, and it's been a really good asset to this Core Divorce launch. So another way to do it is events. We will ultimately start doing some coaching events where you can invite people to learn more about the coaching opportunity at some point. But our team, we're not quite ready for that yet. That's a little bit overwhelming to me. So the last one is referrals. So this is when you've started working with people and you have a challenge group or you're working with people one-on-one. Don't be afraid to ask for referrals. Send them a message and say something like, and this is something I'm really bad at, so I can't really say that I've done a great job at this. It's something that scares me actually more than sending a cold invite. But it also shows me who would be a great coach. So if people who are bought challenge packs and they are actually interested in coaching, this is a great segue to that. But asking for referrals from your current challengers, sending them a message and saying, hey, I think you're a rock star. You've been killing it this challenge. I love that you've done X, Y, Z. You've really lit a fire in me to help 2 more people this month. Do you have anybody in mind that might want to do this with us together? And so sending that gets you referrals. And they might say, no, I don't have anybody. Or they might say, hey, yeah, my neighbor has been talking to me about Country Heat. And either they'll refer to you or they'll say, hey, wait a second. I want to get that commission. And that's how Jennifer became a coach, because she wanted my commission on a size package. And I'm just calling you out. I'm kidding. But it's true.
$15. I know. $15.
It's $15 that my mom paid for. So that's one way to go about it, is referrals. And that's something that I'm really going to try harder to tap into, because if you're providing a good challenge group experience, they're going to want to help you. And that's really paid off in the last couple of months, because I've found a tracking system that works for me. So I'm able to keep track of my challengers at a much higher level than I ever have been, which is great, because now there's so many of them, it would be overwhelming at doing it the old way. But having that challenge group experience and getting them results will make them want to refer someone to you. So those are my 5 different ways that you can send an invite. And like I said in the beginning, that 80% is going to be on your social media. The rest of this is 20% behind the scenes. But I do encourage you to view invites as an opportunity to change someone's life instead of a scary step. And you don't have to send out 15 invites a day. That's ridiculous. Go back and watch our video on the power of 3s. We did that a few weeks ago. And the concept is 3 invites, 3 follow-ups, 3, it's a daily activity where it's a small manageable number. So those are my tips on invites. And I would love to take any questions that you guys may have. So we'll open it up to questions. Anybody have any questions? Laurel? Okay, let me unmute. Can you unmute yourself?
Yes.
Yep, you're good.
So I have, when I post my before and afters and I email them afterwards and you do it over and over again, you don't keep sending it to the same people, right? Because basically the same people are the ones who are responding, but they're not responding back to my, like, hi, how are you? And they're just hi, good picture, and that's about it.
Yeah.
So you don't keep responding to them, right?
No.
Okay.
And I actually don't even keep track of those. Like once they either ignore me like twice or, I'm not going to stalk somebody until they,
Right.
buy something from me. So yeah, I will send one thank you message and then maybe a couple like get to know you messages. And then after that, I'm like, this is not a good fit for us. Obviously they don't mesh with who I am.
Okay. Well, I have a bunch who email me back, but they don't mention asking for help per se or workouts. They just say, oh, you look good, you're doing good. And that's about where it ends.
So those were the people that I would keep a list of because
Okay.
those are people that you can send an invite to a group a month later or 2 months later, whenever. Those are the people that I will go after. That sounds terrible. Don't view it that way.
You?
Those are the people that I will begin communicating with for invite. But because those are people that might be interested, but they're just not sure if they're ready. And something like Core de Force might pique their interest and put them over the edge of curiosity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that was it.
Okay, that's a great question. Anybody else have any questions? Who is that? Because I know Heidi and Daniel are really new, so I don't feel like y'all need to answer this unless you want to, and then feel free. Sorry. Who is struggling with invites? Like who is scared? I see a finger. All right, Alice, tell me what you're struggling with, and let's help brainstorm through that. I'm gonna call you out. Love you, mean it.
Oh, love you too. I guess for me, it's more just, I really question what I say to people. Like if I was to talk to someone face to face, I could talk to them for 8 hours,
Right.
but it's my wording.
Yeah.
And I guess that's when you say, you should do more personal development,
Yes, I do.
But that's my biggest struggle.
Yeah.
Because I talk to guests at the end, like all the time about Beachbody, right? But when it comes to like messaging people.
Have you ever thought about like if you have somebody that is interested, asking to do a phone call? Like, are you better on the phone?
Nope.
No? Okay, never mind.
I'm better in person.
In person. I mean, you are very charming, so I can see that.
No, I don't know what it is. Like I can send, like just like you were helping me earlier today with this, a guest from the inn told me about a woman who needs help, and I reached out to her, and that's why I was sending you like what she was saying, because for me it's like the starting the conversation, especially when I don't know her.
Yeah.
And I don't know when to invite, because I could talk to you for 8 hours, but when it comes to inviting.
Yeah, and that's why I say to the entire team, feel free to send me screenshots, because that in my journey as a coach, that's something that I have failed forward on 1,000,001 times. And I've critiqued the way that I respond to conversations so that I'm coming across genuine and authentic and truly making sure that I know their needs. And I feel like at this point, that's the easy part for me. So I'm happy to help brainstorm through conversations. You know that I already believe in the way that you respond to people. You just lack the confidence. You're good at it.
I've always struggled with that.
No.
That's what my mom used to always say.
I know. It's all right. So, Alice, I really appreciate you sharing that with us, because I'm sure that we've all struggled with that at some point or another.
Yeah, I need to pick up the book and start reading it more.
Yeah, you and me both. Personal development, finding time for it is one of my hardest things to do. I've got a book right here that I need to start today, and it's 9:30. Okay, anybody else having trouble with invites or want help brainstorming through any of that? Questions, anything like that? Jennifer, go for it.
So, let's see. When you're in conversation with people,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of goes with Alice's. It's like, how do you know when that moment to ask the question? Like, I don't like to rush conversations, of getting to know people. I want it to be genuine, especially if it's a cold person. I mean, I do those, but it just, sometimes I really just want to get to know the person. So at what point, because sometimes I'll get in the conversation and I'll just go, and then the conversation will go dead. And it's like, oh, I missed my opportunity to ask or to say. So then what do? Do you follow up in a couple days and then ask, or the next day? Or do you go, oh, hey, I forgot to mention.
Yeah, that's what I would do, actually.
Yeah.
The next day, I wouldn't let the conversation go for too long, because you're still going to be in their brain, and say, hey, you know what? It's been so nice talking to you and, getting to know you. I would love to see if you would be a good fit to be in my next challenge group, or, find a different way to word it, but go ahead and seize the day. Like, you don't know, they might just be too scared to ask you too. And it goes back to viewing it as it's a relationship that you're offering them, not a product. And you know that, and we all know that. It's just hard to get out of our own head sometimes. I would seize the moment and go ahead and pull the trigger on the invite, because the worst thing they can do is say no, and then in 3 months they've still watched you, and then they come back to you in 3 months, because that's what's going to happen with a lot of
Well, then I'm going to go on to ask you another question if I can.
Yeah.
So just as Alice does, I send Rachel, I'm like, how do I handle this particular person? And so the other night I was talking to someone who's currently doing another nutrition. I don't know if I should say the name, but
you can say the name.
Okay, they're doing Isagenix, but she reached out to me because of the workouts. So, and I just want to share what Rachel's point was to me. I want Rachel to tell you guys what she said to me basically about this, because it's going to come up. There are other companies other than just Isagenix and Herbalife and some of these other ones. And so you're going to come across these people, and I don't want to be fearful. I think I can kind of get in my own head. It's like that chicken list, as Rachel called it, I think. And you're fearful of asking those particular people who are doing other programs, inviting them into our program or into into our life. And so I kind of just want Rachel to share what she said to me, because I was struggling in the conversation of, well, how do I present it to her? How do I present Shakeology to her? Because honestly, because the workouts can sell itself, but it was Shakeology. How do I talk about Shakeology in comparison to Isagenix? Because all it is supplements. So.
Right. Yeah. The first piece of that is to have a reason why you love Shakeology, and have a testimony with Shakeology and what that's done for you. So that's the first things. I would also, so in that conversation with Jennifer and this person, I basically encouraged Jennifer to just let Shakeology go, because this girl was convinced that she was going to do 90 days with Isagenix, and I would rather her sign up with a workout and go ahead and get started on her goals. And then in a couple months, she might be willing, when another product launches, then she might say, you know what, now's my chance to try Shakeology, because clearly Isagenix is crap. And so they're going to come around, and by coming from a genuine place and not pushing a product down their throat, which Jennifer was not doing. She was actually asking, okay, is it okay to let this go? Is basically what it was. And I encouraged her, yes, now is not the time that's still a life that you're changing, even if it's not a challenge pack. We all have a story with Shakeology, and we all have a reason why we want people to be drinking it, because of the things it can do for their health and their internal health. But it's not worth losing a relationship with a potential customer or challenger over. So for that one, Jennifer did a great job of asking questions back and forth with this girl, and she was asking, like, she said, I don't know a lot about Isagenix. Can you tell me more about it? And whether that was true or not, I'm pretty sure that was true, but regardless if it's true or not, it helps you know what their knowledge base is on the other companies. So I'll give you an example. Madison, who is going to be one of my new coaches, she's my cousin who's joining our team soon with Quarterforce. She is a Herbalife, or was an Herbalife hardcore, like business builder, Herbalife to the death. And she really was a product-based company, and it's just different. It's just different than Beachbody. Beachbody is relationships focused, and that's all products. And so she was comparing the list of ingredients in Shakeology to Herbalife, and she was like, holy mess, Rachel, this stuff is amazing. And she said, she asked me, she's like, what's it sweetened with? I was like, it's sweetened naturally. Herbalife's third ingredient is fructose. And so as the provider of Shakeology, as the one who's connecting them, it's our job to be educated on what it is. And that's something that I'm really trying to do better at, and learning more about the ingredients that are in it, because I definitely don't know enough. Madison actually has the upper edge because she knows how to read a label like that. So maybe we'll have her train us. But yes, when it comes to other people and other companies, that's going to come up a decent amount. I've had Advocare, Herbalife, and Isagenix all come up. So anything else? No? Everybody good? Okay. I hope this call was helpful. I hope it took some of the fear out of inviting and the overwhelming feeling out of inviting, because it doesn't need to be big and scary. And it doesn't need to be something that you send out 25 invites a day, because if you do that, for one, if you do that, you're probably really, really far along in the business. I'm not sending out 25 invites a day. I can promise you that. And so sending out a small, manageable number and having something to invite to and sharing your journey relentlessly is going to be the keys to overcoming your fear of inviting. And remember, it's an open door, so if you have questions, please feel free to come to me or Jennifer, and we can help you problem solve through those questions. So I think that's it. Y'all don't forget about Super Saturday. So if I know that a lot of you have a lot going on Saturday. If there's any way that you can make it, we would love for you to come with us to the Triad Super Saturday. I know Alice is going to the one near her. Laurel, I haven't even asked you. I hope that you're going to be able to make it to one. But if you're able to, make it a priority, because they're amazing events, and the energy and the excitement is just contagious. So I think you have a question, Alice.
Do y'all know who's going to be at your Super Saturday?
Yeah, hold on. Keanu Graves